Alright, guys. Try this again. This is my third time trying this. My freaking webcam camera. The video stops when I minimize it, so when I look at the freaking fight card. So let's see if this works. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do UFC 240, Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. Interesting matchup. Not surprised. Frankie is a heavy underdog. He's at a plus 300. Not bad, but Max is at a minus 400. I agree with that. Frankie's getting up there. Tough as nails, but he got KO'd by Brian Ortega first round elbow. Perfectly timed elbow. Nothing to complain about, but that was his first finish ever. Since then, he's taken some time to, adjust maybe his strategy. Maybe spend some time with the family. I'm not sure, but he's a great dude. He used to train at his gym in UFC North Brunswick, his UFC gym. He's a really super nice guy. Always eager to help people out. Trains with Marlon Moraes, who just fought for the 135 belt. So tough competitors over there. Trains with Zabit. But we're going to start in the early prelims. Tanner Boser. He 27 years old. Fighting out of Alberta. Shaved Bears MMA. He looks like a shaved bear. He's got a nice mullet here. 6'2", 258. He's a slow starter. He's got a lot of his KOs in either he's got one round two. Hasn't had a first round TKO since 2015. Hasn't had a KO. We had a KO in his last fight in Unified MMA with a leg kick, round 4. Went to a draw with Zaire Zababayev, an M1 challenge, 2019. Wow, he fought twice in 2019. Lost a decision to Ruzalov. It's crazy how they're just letting these guys in the UFC when they have. He's lost 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lost 3 out of his last 8 to decision. Decision. Lost a decision, draw, and then a TKO leg kick. Maybe that got the UFC's attention. But he seems like a slow starter. Doesn't look very explosive. Doesn't have a lot of fast twitch muscles. And compared to Giacomo Lemos, I mean, this dude's a beast. Lemos, he's 6'3", 255, jacked, city. All of his TKOs are around 1 or 2. His first fight, 2016, submission in round 1 or round 3, and TKO round 2, TKO round 2, TKO 1, TKO 2, doctor stoppage, TKO 2, round 2, AFC. This guy's undefeated in his pro career. 6 fights undefeated. I don't see him. He looks like he's going to come out and be explosive. And I think Boser is a slow starter. These guys are both making their UFC debuts. So maybe Boser's going to fight maybe more aggressively to impress the boss man. But this guy just looks jacked. I haven't seen him since he's been in the USADA testing pool. But a lot of guys look different. But this guy, he definitely looks like he's jacked city. Explosive, got a lot of fast twitch muscles. I have Giacomo Lemos either round 1 or round 2 TKO. I want to say round 1. Okay. Next up, we have Eric Koch, who is a UFC vet. He has been around since 2011. He fought Rafael dos Santos, knocked him out in round 1. Or not. Santos. Rafael Assunção in 2011 knocked him out in round 1. So obviously Rafael Assunção has been doing well since then. He just fought Marlon Moraes, his fight before Henry Cejudo in the rematch. Actually, no. It's 2 fights ago. Marlon fought I want to say he fought whatever. But I won $10,000 on a parlay with him knocking out Rafael Sunsao in the first round, which is nice. But since then, he got a decision win over Jonathan Brookins, 2011. Then got TKO'd by Ricardo Lamas, 2013. Lost his decision to Dustin Poirier. That was when Dustin was at 145. Won against Rafael Oliveira, TKO round 1. Then got head kicked, TKO'd round 1 by Daniel Crookshaw. Shane Campbell submission round 2. He won that one. And then lost a decision to Clay Guida, which is, Clay Guida's tough, but he's still just old and he's just basically a brawler. So, which is basically what Eric Koch is, but he's also a submission pro. So then he lost a decision to Bobby Green, his last fight, January 2018. So he's a veteran. I mean, his submissions are good. His record's shitty, but he's got experience. And he's fighting Kyle Stewart, who's making his second UFC fight here. He got subbed by Chance Rancontry, who's a crazy grappler. I should have seen that before I picked against him his last fight because he absolutely mauled. He's a plus 375 underdog his last fight. Chance Rancontry was against the Armenian guy, I think he is. Ismail Nardiov, who looked freaking phenomenal coming in, making his UFC debut. And Chance Rancontry just fucked him. So I think that's exactly what he did to freaking Kyle Stewart here, except he was able to sub him. Subbed him round 1 too. So his fights before he came into the UFC, LFA, he was a champion for LFA. Iron Boy Promotions, LFA. He was on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, 2017, won by TKO ankle injury, it says here, which is probably why he didn't get the UFC contract. So he fought 1, 2, 3, 4 more times to get back into the UFC, where he lost 1. And so, I mean, obviously he doesn't have that big of a ground game. There's a few submissions here, but nothing really. Mostly against strikers. So I'm going to take Koch here. I think Koch has more experience in the UFC. And if these guys are getting decisions in LFA, then, they're not going to do well in the UFC. I got Koch by either sub or decision. I think he might finish him. He's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. He wants to impress the UFC to keep his job. So I think Koch by sub, finish. Yeah. All right, who we got next? So we got Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson is an interesting fighter. She's a submission artist. American Top Team. Trains with really good people. She's got a tough competitor in Sarah Frota. So she destroyed Veronica Macedo, who is my girl. Absolute bombshell. Timepiece, smoke show, whatever you want to call it, for Veronica Macedo. Man, she is never mind. Okay, so we got submission over Veronica, lost to submission of Silva, rear naked choke Molly the Meatball McCann, subbed Emily Whitmire, subbed Hannah Zafaris, lost to Cynthia Calvillo in global knockout. Other than that, I mean, she's big for the weight class too. Like super jacked. 24, 5'5". She fights out of American Top Team too, which is interesting. I always like to look at the fight team when I'm making my picks because if you're training with killers every day, you're going to become a killer eventually. Okay. The Savage, Jillian Robertson. She's going up against Sarah Frota, who is a badass looking lady. She's 5'6". Maybe she's moving up in weight classes. But she said she's 115 here. She's from Brazil. She lost her last fight. And that was Sunsao Morales card I was just talking about. Through a decision. KO, sub. Oh, she's a Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Season 1, Episode 1. KO round 1. That's pretty good. Okay, so man, she is tough though. Only 2 decisions in her career, 3 decisions. Her recent loss, but she's a badass. She is a smaller fighter. She's similar to Robertson's last opponent, which was no. I got Robertson submission, just because I think she's going to be able to take her down. Frota's showed good takedown defense in the past, but I think Robertson's just as apt. She'll do it because she just does it to everyone. She just mauls people. So Robertson by submission is what I have. All right, next up we have Davison Figuerido. He just fought Josiah Formiga, who fought Benavidez in his last fight. Got absolutely destroyed by Benavidez, but he absolutely destroyed Figueiredo here in wrestling. The dude just doesn't seem to have a good takedown defense. Formiga was just wrestling him, taking him down, ground and pound. Couldn't finish him. Tough guy, but definitely lost the unanimous decision. Before that, he has 2 TKOs against Joseph Morales and John Moraga. Decision TKO against Marco Beltran, 2017. So he's got heavy hands. He's a good striker, but his wrestling game is just who knows, maybe he worked on it, but that fight was in March 2019, so it hasn't been that long. He is fighting Alexandro Pantoja, who's fighting in Black House, Brazil. Fucking tough dude. TKO round 1 against Wilson Reyes. Submission round 1 against Yuta Sasaki. Decision. Lost to Dustin Ortiz in a decision, but Dustin Ortiz is a badass. So. Has wins over Neal Seary, Eric Shelton. And those are his UFC. Has a lot of subs in his before UFC career. I'm going to take Pantoja here, just for the fact that I think he has a better ground game than Figueiredo, and he just seems to be more explosive, more experienced. 8 subs, 7 TKOs, fights for Black House, Brazil. 5'5", age 29. I got Pantoja. I don't know how, maybe a finish, but I'm just going to take him on the money line. Next up, we have the Canadian Gavin Tucker, who looked really good in his last fight in the first round. He came out, it was in Canada too. Hometown hero, everybody was cheering for him. Came out going crazy, throwing crazy combinations, and then burned himself out and paid for it. got tired when he fought Rick Glenn. Rick Glenn's an absolute monster, though, too. He has a similar body type to Sungwoo Choi, too. Sungwoo Choi is just an inch shorter than him, but he has long limbs, just like Rick Glenn had, and he used them against him. Used against Tucker. Before that, he had a win over Sam Cecilia, decision win. And before the UFC, he has a lot of finishes. Yeah, all finishes. Except for his first fight was a decision. But finishes fights, came out strong, showed some awesome striking against Rick Glenn in the first round, but then just absolutely got chewed up because he burned out his gas tank. Now, hopefully he learned by that, because last time it was in Canada and he was a hometown hero, and it's in Canada again. So, if he keeps his cool, keeps his composure, I think he could beat Sungwoo Choi. He's also a striker. And absolutely got dominated his last fight by Mazvar Evloev, who's a Russian wrestler. Just took him down at will. Beat him up for 3 rounds. Didn't have any answer for it. His striking didn't impress me that much. He's from South Korea. He didn't strike. His striking didn't impress me much against Mazvar Evloev, but he was on his back most of the time. And he fought for TFC. And he's got pretty much 2 decisions, all out of 2 TKOs. 1 TKO loss, 1 decision loss. Yeah, that was his UFC debut. That's what the UFC does. If you're a striker and you think you're hot shit in divisions other than the UFC, they're going to give you a wrestler. And you're going to get humbled. If you don't fucking train for it. I mean, these strikers, a lot of them don't like to wrestle. I don't really like to wrestle either, but you have to do it if you're going to. You think you have a fucking shot being an MMA fighter. You have to have a good ground game. And Sungwoo Choi does not. Gavin Tucker, he has an interesting ground game. He was coming at it with Rick Glenn. Rick Glenn was pretty much dominating him, but he does have longer limbs. Like I said, similar body type to Sungwoo Choi, and Rick Glenn he's a team alpha male, team alpha fail, whatever you want to call him. But he fights for team alpha male, Rick Glenn. So there's nothing really to hang your head about if you lose to a team alpha male member and you're still, at the beginning of your fight career. Especially when you already have a win in the UFC. So he did get dominated, but I think it's just because he blew out his gas tank. He got excited because he was in Canada. If he could learn not to do that this fight and control himself, I think he'll knock out Sungwoo Choi. And even if he doesn't control himself, I think he'll knock out Sungwoo Choi. Sungwoo Choi is just not fast enough for him. He's a little bit of the smaller guy, but I think he's way more explosive, more stocky, power shotter than Sungwoo Choi, who's more of a fast, hit you right on the chin kind of guy. So I'm going to take a tough one, really fucking close. Do Choi's plus 115, Tucker minus 152. I'm going to take Tucker, though. Hasn't had a finish in 2 years since he got into the UFC. But I think he might finish Sungwoo Choi. Yeah. So I got Tucker, TKO. Sure, dog. Taking forever as usual. Okay. Hakeem Dawodu. His nickname's Mean. He is a mean dude. He's not very sportsmanlike. Kind of a dick in my opinion, but who cares what I think. Fights out of Champions Creed MMA. Muay Thai and kickboxing. He has a Dutch kickboxing style. Mixes in him with Muay Thai. Very good striker. But his last last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's only had 3 UFC fights. He got subbed in his UFC debut. Like I said earlier, the UFC likes to give good strikers grapplers and see if they're going to do anything in this freaking promotion. He got subbed in the first round, guillotined by Danny Henry. Austin Arnett, he won via decision. Kyle Bochniak, a decision, even though Bochniak, that was close. He took him down a few times. Bochniak took Dawodu down a couple times, but Dawodu was right back up. He showed good takedown defense. I watched Kyle Bochniak fight Zabit in Brooklyn like a year ago. That was a decision. Crazy good fight. Kyle Bochniak is tough as nails, too. And he could knock him out. Even though he was landing some good strikes, Kyle was, too. But I see openings in his game. He likes to fight, He has a good stance, good Muay Thai. But Yoshinori Horie, he's fast as shit. He fights for Alliance Square, for Japan. 5 TKOs, 3 decisions, but he fought for Pancrase and all round 1, round 2, decision. Mostly TKOs. He got beat by Issa Tamura 2018 with a TKO. Since then, he's had 2 round 1 TKOs in Pancrase. Honestly, he's fast. He's 5'8". What's Dawodu? Dawodu's also 5'8". Dawodu might have the reach advantage, but I'm going to give the speed to Horie. I mean, I like Horie knocking him out. In my opinion, if Bochniak could catch him on the chin a few times, didn't hurt him. But actually, he might have hurt him once. But if he could catch Bochniak, or if Bochniak could catch him on Dawodu on the chin, then I think Yoshinori Horie can catch him pretty easily. He's fast, man. Explosive as shit. I got Horie in this. He's a fast starter. Dawodu's kind of a slow starter. But I got Yoshinori Horie TKO. If you can't TKO him, then maybe Dawodu would get the decision, but I'm going with Yoshinori Horie TKO round 1. Okay, next up we got Vivian Araujo, Brazilian. She impressed me. Her last fight versus Elita Bernardo, she looked unstoppable. She was just playing with her the whole time. Couldn't get taken down. Her has good takedown defense against Elita Bernardo. Obviously, that was her game plan to take her down, and she couldn't do it. And then got knocked out in round 3. I'm sure a lot of people try to take her down because she's a striker, but she's also got good submissions. She's lost 1 fight, and that's to Sarah Frota, who's fighting Robertson on the same card. She lost to her in TKO. That was 2017. So she beat Elita Bernardo in her UFC debut. I'm pretty sure she was a pretty heavy favorite for that, though. She's going up against Alexis Davis. Very slow. She looks exactly like Robertson. I always get those two mixed up. But, oh my God. She's a submission artist. Alligator. She's lost to Jennifer Maia and Caitlin Kuchanakian because she couldn't take him down. I watched the Jennifer Maia fight, and she just could not take her down. Jennifer Maia is quick and has a similar body type to Araujo. And Araujo might be even faster than her in her strength. I think she is. And Jennifer Maia was just lighting her up. Caitlin Chukagian. I mean, she trained with John Danaher over in the Blue Basement, in Manhattan. Gordon Jiu-Jitsu, Gordon Ryan, and Gary Toner and all them over there. So she's good in the ground. I wouldn't expect her to win that fight. She beat Liz Carmouche, lost to Sarah McCann, lost to Ronda Rousey in 2014, but she's been in the UFC since 2013. Won a decision against Jessica Eye. I don't know. I don't think Robertson can take her down. See, I always do that. Alexis Davis, Alligator. She's fighting out of Canada. I mean, it's her hometown. I'd have that hometown vibe to her. Get something going. But it really comes down to, can she take her down and maul her and sub her like she does, like she likes to do. She's a heavy hitter and she's big for the weight class. I think she cuts a lot of weight. Expect her to be a lot bigger than Araujo, Vivi. 5'5". Yeah. So yeah, she's really got the size advantage against Araujo. So if she can take her down, then she might be able to sub her. But I mean, these Brazilians are basically raised to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got Araujo. Even a finish, maybe, honestly. But I got Araujo. Vivian Araujo. Next up, we got Marc-Andre Barriaut. UFC's having a lot of the Canadian fighters you never ever see. A lot of them are making their UFC debut. Weird fights. Every Canadian loses their first fight in the UFC. So he lost his last fight in the UFC too, against Andrew Sanchez in a decision. He was the TKO champion for a while. He's got 8 KO wins and 3 decisions, which is pretty good. Let's see. So his last 5 fights, 3 decisions and 2 KOs. He lost his last decision in the UFC, as I just said. TKO. And he's going against such a weird matchup. This guy's a UFC vet. He's been in the UFC since 2013. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. KRZYSZTOF. Like, how do you even say that in English? Krzysztof. There you go. Krzysztof Jotko. He's a Polak, so I'm rooting for him. But doesn't mean I'm going to bet on him. Fights for American Top Team, top team, which is Muay Thai. He's got 13 decision wins, which is fucking ridiculous. Decision win over Alan Medovsky. Since that was his last UFC fight. Before that, he got TKO'd by Brad Tavares, got TKO'd by Uriah Hall, and then lost a decision to David Branch in 2017. So he just snapped his 3-fight losing streak with a decision win. And then before that, I'm trying to see if he's beat anybody. Hasn't beat anybody to brag about in the UFC. I could tell why UFC hasn't promoted this guy. I've never heard of him until now. He has 13 decisions. Not very good. But I want to take Barriaut over him. Fights a TriStar, which is Faraz Sahabi, GSP. Those guys are legit. So, I mean, American Top Team's legit too, but this guy, he's 29, 6'1", Yeah, they're both 29-6-1. I'm going to take Barriaut here. But go either way. Mercier. For some reason, I don't like this guy at all. It just seems like a smug little shithead. He's like every Canadian guy I've ever met. Not the smug, but he looks like every Canadian dude I've ever met. Fights a TriStar too. 5'9", 30 years old. He's lost 2 of his last fights. His 2 last fights against Alexander Hernandez. He got his ass whooped by Cowboy. And Gilbert Burns. It was a decision. Since then, before that, he beat Evan Dunham, TKO in round 1. Anthony Rocco Martin, split decision. Sub Drew Dober, which is pretty good. I mean, subbing Drew Dober's no joke. Drew Dober's no joke. So, yeah. But he's going up against a fucking monster, Armen Tsarukyan. 13 wins, 2 losses. He just went up against Khabib's boy in April 2019, Islam Makhachev, and he gave him his first takedown ever. Islam's never been taken down. I went in there, he took him down. Pretty sure he took him down the first round. Took him down a few times, but it was a great grappling exchange fight. But Islam was just too good for him, and he lost that decision. He was a huge underdog too. I had him winning just for the fuck of it because I thought he had a chance. And he almost finished him a couple times. He had him in some good guillotine chokes. Great grappler. I mean, transitions, wrist control. He had some really good wrist control. He grabbed the guy's wrist, and the way he does it is he pulls the wrist, so he twists the body towards his ankle and catches the foot and trips you just so he can get a better position in grappling. I really like that. I mean, Paul Felder said he was going to steal it too while he was commentating. Yeah, I don't think freaking, what's his name? Olivier Mercier. Yeah, fuck you, dude. Smug little bastard. He just seems like he's arrogant and he won't learn from his 2 losses that he just had. He got destroyed by Gilbert Burns. I mean, ground and pound, even though it was a decision, Gilbert Burns had him on the ground, lifted him up, slammed him on the ground, ground and pound, had him in trouble. Yeah, I don't see him doing anything to Armen. Like, striking, don't think so. Grappling, no fucking way. So, I got Armen either round 1 or round 2 finish. But you can finish him any way he wants, honestly. So, I'm just going to go with finish, not a TKO or a sub. But I think he's going to TKO him. You know, he fights with his hands down. Olivier being Mercier does. Fights with his hands down like this, kind of trying to lean in. I don't know how Firas Zahabi is letting him do that. He's training at TriStar. I don't know. It says unsure dog. He's training at TriStar. But I mean, he's a judo black belt. You know, Islam, whatever his name is Khabib's teammate. You know, Khabib's dad was Islam's coach for the fight against Armen. Armen's a Russian killer. You know, you never bet against. Who's more tough, a Russian or a Canadian? You know, I'll always go with Russian when it comes down to it. Especially Arman Tsarukyan. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but yeah, I got Armen Tsarukyan. First round finish. I don't think Olivier Mercier has anything for him. Okay, so we got Neal versus Price. Really weird matchup here. So Jeff Neal, 4 MMA, 6 KOs, 2 subs, 3 decision wins. He's won his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights. 3 of those being in the UFC. Fought on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. First round TKO. Got a UFC contract and has won 3 straight in the UFC. So this dude's looking good. He's not the pressure of fighting on the big screen didn't fucking affect him at all. Beat Brian Camozzi, Frank Camacho, and Bilal Muhammad with a decision, but subbed Camozzi, KO'd Camacho, Bilal Muhammad with a decision. Unanimous too. Bilal was pissed about that, man. Unfinished fights, man. And Bilal Muhammad's no joke either. Where's he fight at? I'm pretty sure he's at Rufus Sport too. He's got 15 wins, but he's all decision. Even took Curtis Millender to a decision. Alright, but enough about him. So Jeff Neal, he's looking good, man. He's lost in 2017 to a TKO. Kevin Holland, who I think is in the UFC now too. Yeah, he's in the UFC now. But he looks good, man. He's a good striker. Explosive as shit. Jacked. 5'11". They matched him up against Nico Price, which is like Nico. He got suspended for drug test, failing a drug test in 2017. Since then, he's beat Alan Jouban by TKO, but Alan Jouban he's a model, and anytime UFC fighters are doing anything but training their asses off every day, they're gonna get fucking TKO. So, got subbed by Vincent Lucht, Bravo choke, subbed by George Sullivan, KO'd by Randy Brown. Abdul got KO'd in the first round by Abdul Razak Al Hayyan, and he TKO'd Tim Means, but Tim Means is a fucking joke. Yeah. I don't think he's got anything for Neal. Yeah. He hasn't gone to a decision yet in the UFC. So I might just take the fight line of it going no decision. Even though he went to decision both about Mahal Muhammad, but Mahal Muhammad is a decision expert. He goes to decision every time. And he complains when he doesn't win because he doesn't finish fights. But I got Neal in this easily. I got Neal, and if you want to do a prop, you could say it's not going to go to decision. So Neal finish, I think. He's a heavy underdog. Nico Price is plus 200. Neal is minus 274, which I agree with. I'm going to go with Jeff Neal finish. Okay. Cyborg is making her return. She got KO'd by Nunes in round 1 TKO. I made a shit ton of money on that because I knew Nunes is my girl, yo. She's a fucking animal. I want her to fight Henry Cejudo. I think she'll whoop his ass too. But yeah, got destroyed by Amanda Nunes. Looked like she rocked Amanda, got her with one shot, got too excited, and then got clocked herself. And I think she went into this kind of brawl, flight or fight kind of reaction there. She's never been rocked before, I don't think. And she just started swinging for the fences, like a freaking barnyard brawler. You can see Joseph Perillo in the background, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Get your chin up. Like, get your hands up, your chin down. If you swing with Amanda Nunes, you're going to get clocked and you're going to get knocked out. Yeah, I think that was the last time Nunes has been an underdog in a while. So, that was Cyborg's at a minus 625 on this, which I'm not surprised. What I was surprised about is Felicia Spencer calling her out. Like nobody wants to fight Cyborg. I respect the shit out of Felicia Spencer for calling her out. Like, fuck you, bitch. I'll fuck you up. I don't give a fuck. I don't know if that's what she said, but, still. She's got some cojones. Cojones. The Jungle MMA in Florida. Fucking beast. Phenom. Invicta champion, too. I mean, all subs, pretty much. Her last 3 fights were subs, including Megan Anderson, who I had beaten the shit out of her. But Megan Anderson, I mean, she's always like putting up pictures of her modeling shit on her Instagram and getting tattoos, and it's like, you got your shit rocked. Holly Holm, she wrestled the shit out of you, and then you come in this fight against a wrestler and you don't practice your wrestling. It's like, come on, girl. And James Crouch is your coach, so I'm surprised about that. Maybe she just doesn't want to wrestle. Doesn't like wrestling. Those strikers don't like wrestling. Well, she also has such a reach advantage. Like, how tall is Megan Anderson? 6 foot. So she's big too. But Felicia Spencer don't give a shit. She said, me. Nice tattoos, bitty. I'm gonna come after you now. 5'6", god dang. So 5'6" versus 6'0", and she submitted her in the first round. Now, I'm not gonna say she's gonna do that to Cyborg, but if she can get it to the ground, which I doubt she could. Cyborg's a great wrestler too. She wrestles dudes, spars dudes. I don't think Spencer has anything for Cyborg. Like, who has she fought? Like, her last opponent before Megan Anderson. Let's check her out. 5'5", 140. Subbed. Helena Kolesnik. Previous one too, and she's a TKO artist. Zhang Wang. Jiang Wang. Let me go see now. I think, or was that? Nope. Different Wang. Okay, but yeah. No surprise I'm gonna take Cyborg for this. Unless she, pulls a Francis Ngannou. Has like a psychological breakdown because she lost her first fight. I don't see her losing this at all. I mean, I think she's just the only person who could beat her is Nunes. Nunes is just her same style, except bigger and stronger, faster. Not even. I mean, Nunes is just a beast. Got a great coach. I don't know where. Pretty sure Cristiano Gestano is training in South Africa right now on her wrestling, which is good, but I don't know why you go to Africa for that. I could go over her record. Yana Kutsanaka, round 1, Holly Holm decision. Tanya Evinger, TKO. Lena Landsberg, TKO. Leslie Smith, TKO. Everyone who she's fought shouldn't have been in there in the first place. She makes it look like they shouldn't have been. sanctioned to fight her. But Amanda Nunes did work. She got in there and she fucked her up. First minute, boom, bitch, you down. Dropped her a couple times. Yeah, I definitely have Cyborg winning this. I think. Actually, she did lose one submission her first fight in 2005. So 13 years ago, she was subbed. So maybe she learned from that. Hopefully. In a knee bar, too. Wow. 2005, she was fighting. That's insane. Be that dominant this whole time. She's for 13 years. She's like fucking Jose Aldo. Okay. Holloway and Edgar, main event. I mean, Frankie Edgar's tough, but Holloway's just so good. He's so just in your face, keeps the pressure on you, doesn't give you time to breathe, doesn't give you time to react, doesn't give you time to adjust your game plan to beat him. He'll just keep coming at you. And he just little patterns, doesn't have that much power, but he's just those little patterns and those combos. He hits you with a 1-2 and you think he's gonna like get out of your range, but then he hits you with a 1-2 uppercut or 1-2 elbow. Like the dude is just insane. Like he's just his pressure and his technique is unbelievable. Obviously, what he did to Brian Ortega was hilarious. That the freaking lines were so even on that fight. All of my female friends love Ortega, and they hit me up like, "Oh my God, you think Brian's gonna beat Max? He's so handsome." And I was like, yeah, you better enjoy his face for now because it's not gonna look the same for a while after he gets in there with Max, which I was right about. Absolutely just put on a clinic. Max put on a clinic against Ortega. Showed him that there's levels to this freaking shit, and you can't just be a pretty face and a popular guy to get up on that fucking champion level shit in the UFC. They pushed him too fast, you know. Like, oh, you beat Frankie Edgar. You got a lucky elbow on Frankie Edgar, in my opinion. Just hit him perfect shot, TKO'd him. You know, I'm pretty sure he's an underdog in that fight too. Black House, Black Belt Surfing Team. Yeah. Yeah, he beat Cub Swanson before they gave him Frankie Edgar. Got lucky with Frankie, in my opinion. And then, of course, we all know what happened with Max. He got destroyed, and doctor stoppage. So, but he's fucking tough, man. He didn't go down. There's that Mexican fighting spirit. But still, I mean, Holloway's just going to keep coming at you. We did see him go up and fight Dustin Poirier, and he lost a decision pretty unanimously, in my opinion. I mean, Poirier just, you know, I heard Frankie Edgar say, I need to make him second guess himself, which is, I think, a lot of what Poirier did in his game plan was just, you know, he has that pressure and he has those combinations, but interrupt those combos. Take that shot. Don't dodge that shot. Take it and give him another one. Disrupt his flow of his combos, and you might be able to get, you know, what Poirier did was he hit him, kept hitting him, used that power. You know, Max just doesn't have the same power as Poirier. Poirier's a big 155er, and Holloway is obviously the 145 champ. So, you know, it was his first fight at 155. You know, maybe he just wasn't used to that weight, the movement, but he's still not putting down a potential Khabib fight in the future, which is cool. Max Holloway's the man. He beat Jose Aldo twice, TKO. They're both round 3. TKO Anthony Pettis round 3. Ricardo Lamas decision. I love that when he just like pointed at the center of the ring when there's like 10 seconds to go. And then boom, boom, just swinging for the fences and still beat him in that because he's Hawaiian. That's what the Hawaiians do is they just swing. They don't just swing, but they swing when they're fucking tough and they take it on the chin and keep coming. So his last 4 fights before Dustin Poirier all ended in TKO. TKO'd Anthony Pettis with a kick to the body, which I think is because he was cutting so much freaking weight. Anthony Pettis who now fights at 170. I should mention he fought Max at 145. So now he's fighting at 170. Just knocked out Wonder Boy, which was crazy. Okay, so let's look at Frankie Edgar's record here. Obviously, his last fight he lost to. Oh no, he fought Cub Swanson. I forgot about that. So he lost to Brian Ortega and fought Cub Swanson for a decision. Couldn't finish Cub Swanson, which is not a good sign because everybody finishes Cub Swanson. He's got 11 losses. Mostly subs, though. Jesus. Yeah, his last one was to Artem Lobov, the GOAT. He beat the GOAT, I guess. Yeah, he even lost to Max Holloway. Lost to Frankie Edgar. And he's had a freaking. He got subbed by Frankie Edgar at Neck Crank 2014. Subbed by Max Holloway 2015. Then he beat Hakran Diaz, Tatsuya Kawajiri, Duho Choi. It was a crazy fight. He looked great in that fight, but beat the shit out of Artem. Then he lost to Ortega, a submission, flying guillotine choke, which was sick. Frankie Edgar decision, Renato Carniero submission, and Shane Burgos decision. I thought Shane Burgos was going to KO him. I don't know how he didn't do that. But, lost me some money. Yeah, he's got this show now. He's got this show, Meet the Swansons or some shit, with his wife, who's like a former ring girl, and their 2 kids, I think they have, and they're always, they have a show. Like you can't have a reality show and be in the UFC. Like every one of these people, like, look at Luke Rockhold. He already sucked in my opinion, but given a fucking Ralph Lauren model, you can't have 1 foot out the door when you're an MMA fighter. You just can't do it. Get Ronda Rousey. Like, you can't fucking be like, oh, I'm a UFC fighter, but I'm also a movie star, or I'm also a freaking stunt double. You have to be 100% focused because the guy you're fighting is probably 100% focused. And if you're not, you're going to get your ass whooped. So, I mean, since he got his show, proof is in the pudding. Since he got his freaking show, Meet the fucking Swansons or whatever the fuck it's called, he lost 4 of his last fights. His last 4 fights. Sub-decision. And now they're giving him Kron Gracie, so that's nice of the UFC. They're like, Cub, dude, get the fuck out of here, bro. We'll give you Kron. Jesus Christ. I feel bad for Cub. Oh, you got subbed by Ortega? Here's Kron Gracie. See how you do. I think they want him to break the record for the fastest submission in the UFC just so they could, push that because he is a jiu-jitsu family legend, the Gracies. Ricardo Almeida Jiu-Jitsu. It's New Jersey, Toms River, New Jersey. It's fucking right down the street from me. Trains with Marlon Moraes, the Beat. But I don't know. I don't see him beating Holloway. I really don't. He couldn't beat Aldo in 2016. beat Jeremy Stephens to a decision, which is tough. The Yar Rodriguez fight, his doctor stoppage. He cut his face open or something. The blood was too much. And Yar Rodriguez has a similar body type as Max Holloway. Definitely has more of a Taekwondo style, as opposed to Max, who's just a brawler of everything, pretty much. But I mean, I don't like MMA math, but I mean, Brian Ortega KO'd him in round 1. You could say it was like a well-timed elbow or a lucky elbow. I think it was a little bit of both. Just hit him right on the chin. Frankie was coming forward into it, hit him square on the chin. The force of him coming forward and the force of his elbow combined. I mean, his first finish. I mean, it's the first time Frankie Edgar's ever been finished. But I think Holloway's going to finish him, honestly. So I got Holloway TKO. Later rounds, though. Holloway takes a long time. Not a long time, but it takes a few rounds to get his timing right. I think all his TKOs are round 3. I had him round 3 against Ortega. I almost won a bunch of money, but Ortega lasted another round, and then they stopped it. But he's got so Holloway TKO, I'd say round 3 or 4, but it could easily go to decision. If it goes to decision, I got Holloway too, but Frankie Edgar's tough as nails, but couldn't finish Cub Swanson. He's old. He's 27. He's Max is 27, and what's Frankie Edgar? 37. So 10-year difference. A lot shorter than Max. At the reach disadvantage. I mean, pretty much hasn't really changed his game plan. Him and Eddie Alvarez are just like, I'm just going to keep doing this. Maybe I'll get knocked out. Maybe I'll get in the highlight video. But they have just the same exact style. He's never changed his style. He's a little gun shy. Maybe after getting KO'd, he went to a decision with Cub Swanson, which is surprising. But, yeah, man, it's Frankie Edgar. He's a legend, but I gotta take Holloway TKO. All right, well, that's it. This was my first video. I'm gonna start putting them up every fight night, every fight card for the UFC. Pretty much just do UFC. I don't do any other sports or promotions, but thanks for listening. If you like. If you dislike, fuck you. Subscribe if you want to hear my picks for next week. Instagram is at NatyNugs, NatyNuggz. All right, guys, thank you. I'm out.